Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Continuing in the miraculous nature of the Quran and the elements of the Quran that prove it to be something above and beyond any other text or teaching or legal code in the history of humanity. This is not just something we say because we believe it, because our family said with this a holy book and we kiss it. It's actually the overwhelming facts keep piling up. The more you study it, the more you see it. And that's why it's important for a Muslim to not just be a Muslim by name or a Muslim by heritage, but a Muslim by conviction and knowledge. إِنَّ هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ يَهْدِي لِلَّتِي هِيَ أَقْوَمُ وَيُبَشِّرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ الَّذِينَ يَعْمَلُونَ الصَّالِحَاتِ أَنَّ لَهُمْ أَجْرًا كَبِيرًا. Truly this Quran is guiding to the most upright of behavior. It is guiding to the model of behavior that will improve upon humanity and bring them to their potential. And that is a challenge that the Quran is making, because it's saying better than any other teaching. We will talk today about the elevation of the status of women. Now on this one, maybe it didn't maintain the actual what's in the script, and people may have went back to their old ways. I'm sure the ladies know what I'm talking about. But in the time that the Quran was being revealed, until this day, conservative, Orthodox, Haredi, Hasidic Jewish men, in what is like their Fajr prayer, their morning prayer, they say, "Blessed you, O Lord our God, we thank you for not creating us a woman." Yeah. And we're the oppressors, right? Christian theologians, they have written in their books, maybe women don't really have a soul. Maybe they're just here to test us like other animals that we struggle with. Maybe women are all just naturally evil. If we go back to the Bible story in Genesis, it comes right after eating from the tree. Right after Adam and Eve ate from the tree, it says, now God is speaking, God said to the woman, "I will greatly multiply your pain in childbearing. In pain you will bring your children forth. And you shall live to serve your husband, and he will rule over you." That's every Bible. Every Bible in the world says this as the punishment for Eve. Because the story reads in the Bible that the snake, serpent, shaitan, Iblis character said, "Hey, Eve," knowing she's easy bait. "Eve, come over here. This is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. You will have all of this. Come here." And she was really hungry and she said, "Okay," and she went for it. And then she went to her husband and said, "Here, you should eat this." And so she enticed him and seduced him and corrupted him. And that's how the Bible reads. And so according to Christianity and Judaism, God punished all women for the action of one woman named Eve, according to their belief. That childbearing and the pains of labor is a punishment on all of you. And so this is the kind of belief system. The Quran does not have any blame on Eve anywhere. Actually, it blames Adam in the Quran. فَعَصَى آدَمُ رَبَّهُ فَغَوَى. Adam disobeyed his Lord and he was deviated. وَلَمْ نَجِدْ لَهُ عَزْمًا. Adam was given the covenant and he was not able to stick with determination on the straight path. He ate from the tree. Every other reference beside those two references says they both went to the tree, they both ate from the tree, and they both fell from grace. Historically, they saw women as property. The 10th commandment, you're familiar with the 10 commandments? The 10th of all the 10, number 10 of them, it says, "Do not seek to have your neighbor's wife. Do not seek to have your neighbor's donkey. Don't seek to have your neighbor's goods and their ox. Do not seek to have any of your neighbor's property." So what was mentioned in the property? The wife. Which is why, historically, Christian women take the name of their husband when they get married. Just like slaves took the name of their masters. That's why you have a lot of black people named Washington, Jefferson, right? This is the thing. And so we don't have that thing. And so that is because we have this liberation in the Quran. Arabs too saw women as property. They had the same idea. Actually, they saw women as a big burden. For many, the feeling of disgrace of a baby girl being born and seeing that she's a girl, this father, with no shame in his heart, will dig up a hole and bury her and put her in there. And that was a very common practice among non-noble Arabs. Then Allah, in the very beginning, literally according to some, within the first few years of the Prophet's Risala, وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ بِأَيِّ ذَنْبٍ قُتِلَتْ وَإِذَا الصُّحُفُ نُشِرَتْ. And so in Surah At-Takwir, when God is talking about the impending prolific event of the accountability of the Day of Judgment, talking to a people who never believed in a Day of Judgment. Not one of them believed in a Day of Judgment. And in the context of that, the one sin that he mentions is burying a baby girl alive. And so that became prohibited right then and there in the beginning of the Prophet ﷺ's mission. Women in the Quran are overtly, by the way, we could literally spend here all night about verses of the Bible that are misogynistic, patriarchal, demeaning, belittling to women. Okay? The Quran says, إِنِّي لَا أُضِيعُ عَمَلَ عَامِلٍ مِّنكُم مِّن ذَكَرٍ أَوْ أُنثَى بَعْضُكُم مِّن بَعْضٍ. God responded to the prayers, I will not allow any of your prayers to be lost. Whether you be male or female, it is the same because you are from the same thing. Each male and female from the same thing. As the Prophet said, إِنَّمَا النِّسَاءُ شِقَائِقُ الرِّجَالِ. Men and women are two halves of the same thing. Humanity. وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتُ بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ يَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ and so on. The believing men and the believing women, they are the allies, the guardians of each other. بَعْضُهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءُ بَعْضٍ. They are equally protecting each other and promoting right and forbidding wrong amongst each other. They are praying together. They are giving zakat together. And they are living their life as believers together. That's how the ayah is pictured. وَلَهُنَّ مِثْلُ الَّذِي عَلَيْهِنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. Generally speaking, all men and all women have the same rights. In the context of a household, the husband isn't a master to be obeyed in every idea that he brings forth, but he is a leader. He is someone that when it comes to a conflict about what we're going to do with this family and the responsibilities of the family as a whole, not what you should do in your life as my wife, as an individual, what opinions you should take. She's equally a human being on the same footing with you. But when we're making a decision about the family and this house and where we're going to go and what we're going to do and how we're going to make decisions collectively, if there is a disagreement, God put the responsibility on the husband. And again, listen to how it is understood properly. That responsibility of good leadership is on the husband. He will be asked about his decision. Was it arrogant and self-serving? Did he even consult with his wife? If he did not and he made the wrong decision, he will be counted as an oppressor on the Day of Judgment. It is not some dictatorial, divinely chosen authority of power over women. That's a biblical understanding. This is us being influenced by our colonizers again. Pay attention. And so we look in the idea of property and inheritance. In this country, the great America, women were not owning property and not inheriting by law until the 1900s. In the Quran it said, لِلرِّجَالِ نَصِيبٌ مِمَّا اكْتَسَبُوا وَلِلنِّسَاءِ نَصِيبٌ مِمَّا اكْتَسَبْنَ وَاسْأَلُوا اللَّهَ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. He put it mutasawi. If men are earning money, they earn their money and they own that property. If women earn money, they earn that money and they own that property. That was something completely different than what most of the world had. Similarly, لِلرِّجَالِ نَصِيبٌ مِمَّا تَرَكَ الْوَالِدَانِ وَالْأَقْرَبُونَ وَلِلنِّسَاءِ نَصِيبٌ. Men and women will both inherit. Now somebody will tell you, but in Islam, women inherit half of men. That is simply not true. There is a situation in which some women will inherit half of their counterpart from the same category. But there are many cases in which some person dies and women will inherit more than men in that inheritance. It is not a general ruling. It's if you have a brother and a sister, a son and a daughter, a mother and a father, if you have two from the same category, then men are inheriting double. Why? Because a woman in Islam is never responsible for a penny in her life. Pay attention, brothers. I know some of you came to America, and now I'm sharing the bank account with my wife now. La taqillah ya rajul. She has her money, and she has a right over your money. This is pure Islam. And so we can never ask from any of our wife's money. If she's earning money, if she has her mahar money saved up or whatever, family, gold, whatever, that's her business. That cannot be included. As a man, I would never ask for that. If my daughter is coming up, I can never ask her, you need to work to pay bills. But when my son gets 15, he's going to work and pay some bills. He needs to learn the ropes. Yeah, you get ready. Next year is coming. Freedom to choose the husband. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا يحل لكم أن ترثوا النساء كرها. Oh, you who believe, you cannot inherit a woman and take her in as your wife if she doesn't like it. And the Prophet on multiple occasions, when women came, because the custom was widespread in Eastern history, where there would be arranged marriages. Most of them were fine with it, and they understood and worked it out, and society and life, it was a normal cultural thing for them. But some were like, no, I don't like this guy. Why did you marry me to this guy? Look how those women felt empowered to come to the Prophet and say, yeah, my father told me I'm married to this guy. I never even met the guy. I'm not too shabby on him. And the Prophet said, okay, you need to ask your daughter. And then he said, if your daughter has been married, then she will say. If she's not, then if she doesn't oppose and you tell her, then that's her sign of acceptance. And so the agency in consultation, وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُمْ. The affairs of the believers, all of them, are taken by consultation. And that is something we saw. The Prophet ﷺ is above all of us. And Allah is commanding him to consult with us when he's making a decision that isn't about just like religion and its teachings, but more like a political or strategic issue that has human affairs in it. So the Prophet ﷺ did that, and on multiple occasions, the Prophet ﷺ took the opinion of Sahaba, and on a couple of occasions, he took the opinion of his wife over his original opinion. That's recorded in Hadith. Where are we at on this one? So I'll just leave you with this point. 25 years after the death of the Prophet ﷺ, when Uthman bin Affan radiallahu ta'ala anhu was assassinated, it was a big fitna. And at that moment, Aisha said, we are going to bring these people to justice. At that time, Ali ibn Abi Talib had been accepted as the default Khalifa. The Muslims were all generally in agreement, Ali will be our leader. He is now the Khalifa. Aisha said, hold on, brother. I'm going to go figure out who these people did. And she started calling people to gather an army to go find out who it was that assassinated and bring them to justice. And Ali told her, don't do that. And what did she do? I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And many companions of the Prophet ﷺ and many grown men followed her as the leader of this army, as the leader of this political decision. The only place in the Quran where a leader is praised for a head of state decision is who? Malikat Saba. But Fir'aun and all the rest of the men are blamed for their oppressive, corrupt, evil behaviors. The only one praised in the Quran for good leadership as a head of state is the Queen of Sheba. And so Aisha did that. Now, she lost the battle, and maybe she had the wrong opinion. Allah knows best. He will judge between them. But they all did not see any problem following her. Similarly, they are now saying, okay, maybe Kamala Harris will be the president. There have been 12 women in 9 different countries who have been prime ministers and head states of Muslim countries. And they try to make you believe ideas about Islam and women that just simply don't add up to the facts. It's crucial for us to own these truths and be very confident and comfortable engaging people. And instead of waiting for somebody to start asking you, is Islam terrorism? Does it oppress women? You're out there promoting what Islam is before, so that they don't have to ask that question. That they will never think to ask that question because it's absurd. May Allah guide us with the Quran, and may the Quran be a witness for us and not against us.